is the most important in the world. I further believe that the struggle between individualism and collectivism is the same struggle on a different level. I'm just an observer, but I can say with certainty that the ruling class, those promoting collectivism, do not want us to see what it is they're doing. First, let's look at our original blueprint for our government. Okay? There are two documents that go hand in glove: the U.S. Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. Think of the Constitution as the driver or the car, and the Declaration as the driver. The third paragraph tells us what the founders were trying to do. Joe stole some of my thunder, but I mean, we'll go ahead. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. I'll let that sink in a minute. We just blow by that so often, but until America came along, the very idea that government was instituted for the people was laughable. And we must not ever skip over that part about rights being granted by God. If unalienable rights are given by God, then government, run by men, cannot just come along and arbitrarily take them away. Now that was a revolutionary concept. Government in most cases was instituted for the benefit of the rulers. Our founders wanted us to be an exception to that. Mr. Buckley's keen insight again in God and Man at Yale just crashes the party when he wrote, "Totalitarianism arises from a denial of God, which leads to a denial of any higher authority for human institutions. Millions of graves in communist utopias whisper, Amen." To understand the brilliance of our system, picture a tree. The trunk is the Constitution. It gives stability and strength to the tree. And there are three main branches. Now, everybody in this room knows they're the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. Our Constitution was designed to separate and dilute the thing that rulers crave. It's the thing they dream about, the thing that animates them, the thing that gives them breath. What is that thing? Power. Our Constitution is designed to put limits on them, and they hate it. The states and the people in the states were meant to be the roots of the tree, giving it life. The whole plan was intended to limit the power of the federal government so that it could not be what it has become, a monster. The states were originally intended to have a great deal of power on their own to keep the federal government in check. Our founders were absolutely brilliant. They studied every form of government that was known at that time, and they settled on a blended form. There are elements of monarchy, the president, aristocracy, the Senate, and democracy, the House of Representatives. They understood human nature precisely. And while they did not trust unlimited power in the hands of a dictator, they also knew that the people were subject to being seduced and corrupted just as thoroughly by the witch's brew of power. James Madison, the generally acknowledged father of the Constitution, had an idea. He said, instead of fighting against human nature, why not make it work for us? And so he did this by helping to craft a system where each branch of the government would fight for its own turf and hold the others in check so that no branch could supposedly usurp the other's authority and purview. And they did everything they could imagine to try and prevent what we have today. So why does all this matter? Ronald Reagan summed it up perfectly. He said, as government expands, liberty contracts. Yeah, buddy. I think it's safe to say that there are three things that corrupt the human soul quicker than anything on earth. They are money, sex, and power. And the greatest of these is power. So, what does the model of the ordinary government look like? Picture a pyramid. At the top are the ruler or rulers. It could be a king, a monarch, a dictator, or a tiny oligarchy. It doesn't matter, because the people exist to serve the rulers. Whereas our form of government was meant to keep power from being concentrated, this model is completely dedicated to the object of distilling power and placing it in as few hands as possible. It's based on the hallucination that a tiny group of enlightened masterminds are qualified to micromanage the lives of millions of people in a huge nation. That is utter nonsense. What is the state? It's a cleverly devised term to hide the fact that the state is composed of people. People who run the government and our lives. The president, the Congress, the Supreme Court, together with the bureaucracy, run the entire nation to benefit themselves. That was not how it was designed. The next level of the pyramid are the guardians, the police and the military, and they are absolutely vital. If you don't like cops, try to imagine a world without them. Oh yeah. The bottom layer of the pyramid, that's us. That's you and me. For some time now, I've been asking the question, who works for who? Do the public servants see themselves as serving the public? Or do they see the public as their servants. When Abraham Lincoln was speaking to the dedication of the National Cemetery at Gettysburg, the last line of that incredible speech, he said, that this nation, under God, might experience a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, and for the people shall not perish from the earth. Who works for who? The founders knew the answer to that question. Lincoln knew the answer to that question. So, if you're wondering, how about this one? Illegal immigration. Does Washington work for us? When they refuse to enforce the law and allow the border to be flooded with illegal aliens, are they working for the citizens? Yeah. Or someone else? Obamacare. Yeah. Now there's a sterling example of Washington ruling against the will of the people. It was never anything but a raw power grab. That's it. If you doubt that, one of the principal architects of this scam, a fellow named Jonathan Gruber, rhymes with goober, is on video bragging about how, well, they had to lie to get Obamacare passed because of the stupidity of the American voter. It's right out there on YouTube. I pulled it up the other day. You want to see it? It's there. Right out in the open. Do you doubt the contempt they have for us? Who works for who? Now, these are only two of many, many issues, and this is at the national level. Think of what Joe's just told you. It goes from City Hall all the way to Washington, so just pick a level and jump in. So where do we fit in? Average Americans. I vote for a new name for Joe the plumber, Bob the electrician, Wanda the waitress. Something with a little more respect. How about individual Americans? Everyone hold up your thumb. There are over 7 billion people currently breathing on this planet. And each one of them has a unique fingerprint. God created unique individuals. It's the false god of government, the god with the little g, that creates people groups. People groups engage in groupthink. Groups are easier for megalomaniac rulers to control. The evil twin sister of power is control. Let me be extremely clear. Government has a legitimate, God-ordained function. It is to be a tool of God, not a God itself. Well, there are many things that have made America great, but right at the top of the list are individuals with freedom to pursue their God-given dreams, individuals using the talent and abilities that God gave them. How many great advancements have been made by individuals in the pursuit of a dream? Medicine, art, literature, science, and on and on. It would be like counting the stars. I want to close with this from Teddy Roosevelt.